Welcome to our It's Electra series.
In this series, we're going to share with you gear based on and inspired by the Electra distortion circuit.
Join us on this journey where we get the most tone out of the least circuit. Today we're looking at the Ghetto Stomp from Greer Amps. Nick makes great things. Nick spent a lot of time talking to you for research for this series, and you can maybe share a little bit about that. He was very helpful.
He was a big help to the series, and one way you can help with the series is clicking that subscribe button and help us keep growing this thing. So back to Nick. Mm-hmm. Got in touch with Nick to talk about the series. He was kind enough to make us the Black Fuzz when we were researching the Electra series, Electra distortion pedals. We discovered this one was kind of based on that circuit, talked to him about it. There was some stuff on the internet about it being his favorite pedal. I don't think it is anymore. I think his favorite pedal now is the Lightspeed.
The one that sold 1 million.
Well, rightfully so, and because it's great. But yeah, he has, I think, a special place in his heart for this circuit. He's used it in a bunch of different pedals. The Black Fuzz is one example. There's some other examples. And today we're going to look at the Ghetto Stomp, which is another example. Interesting, and if you look at the Black Fuzz, it's a one knob pedal.
Right.
Ghetto Stomp has 3.
Right.
So it's a 3 knob pedal. We have what's it?
Volume, gain, and tone. Volume, gain, tone.
Got your eyes.
And Nick's head right there.
So you get a little bit more control, but it's still at heart, I believe, one of those Electra distortion circuits. So we're talking some kind of transistor to boost it and 2 diodes to, clip it down. So what have we been doing? We've been starting off playing, twisting some knobs. And then when we talked to Nick, he was talking about how the Lightspeed works so well with these pedals. So we'll get into that in a minute. We have a Lightspeed and we have one of his Tomahawks that we've used in every episode. It's just cool now. This is like the all Greer show.
Yeah, I was going to say it's all Greer all the time under the pedal cam here.
Right. So you want to do a reference?
Yeah, maybe making its debut on the show. It's technically my son's guitar. 50th anniversary Strat through the Tyler JT22. MXR carbon copy. I guess I'll keep it on 2 for now, but here's the delay and the reverb.
I love that we're in year 3 of the show and this channel, and we're still popping out guitars
that
people haven't seen before.
Exactly.
All right. I think instead of trying to do each knob individually and stuff, why don't you just play for a little bit and we'll move some stuff around and see the different tones that we can grab out of it.
Yeah, and the place we're starting might not have even been with this guitar off camera, but here we go. It's going to be so. I'll start playing that, I guess. I always brace for impact when you take any tone knob and go all the way to the right. And it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
All the way to the left, it got real.
Yeah, we threw a blanket over the top. I mean, it got into almost like fuzz territory when you went all the way to the left with the tone.
Right. So this is billed as being kind of a Tweed, Valco, Supro kind of sound. Mm-hmm. And later when we put it with the two pedals, the Tomahawk also is a tweed Velcro super kind of sound. So we were wondering, well, they're the same pedal or whatever. In fact, maybe not even later. Maybe we should do that now.
Yeah.
What we typically do is have the whatever Electra pedal is on, and then turn the Lightspeed on into it.
Right.
And then turn the Tomahawk in after it.
Right.
It's just the way we've done it. Nick talked about the Lightspeed in front of these pedals, which is why we did it that way. Do you want to do that first, or do we want to just compare it with the Tomahawk just to see?
Oh, you can compare it with the Tomahawk, because now that I'm looking down at the knobs, I realized why the Stomp was set that way, because we had them set the exact same.
Right.
And
so let's just do that, because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll do that first. I'll let you play a little bit on the Ghetto Stomp, click it off, click on the Tomahawk. Not into each other, just separately.
Right.
Because they're both supposed to kind of emulate the same thing.
So in that case, we have the knob set the same for that purpose. Okay.
So, and I mean, having the knobs set the same doesn't really...
Right. We haven't tried to get them to exact match each other, but we thought we got to start somewhere.
Right. And they sound like very different pedals.
They do. Very more, in my humble opinion, more mid-focused. Like when we went to this, I was going to say MIDI, but mid-focused. Like the hump. And then this felt like it had a little bit more distortion to it, like a little bit more hair. Tonally, it was a little deeper as well.
Yeah, I would say the Tomahawk is a little brighter.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's out of the way. All right, so let's do this. Let's do the three: the Tomahawk, the Ghetto Stomp, and the Lightspeed together. Do we need to have the Lightspeed by itself?
I don't know. People get a flavor for how we have it set, maybe.
All right, so I'll turn the Lightspeed on, turn it off, turn the Ghetto Stomp on, and then add the Lightspeed to it. And then we'll do the exact same thing with the Tomahawk and the Ghetto Stomp. Here we go. I was wondering if the Ghetto Stomp and the Tomahawk would be too much. There was too much tweed. But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't together. They were great. And again, we could spend a lot of time tweaking them both. I mean, I'm not sure for this guitar in position 2, which I never moved out of, if that's how I'd have the Ghetto Stomp set by itself. No. But when you put those two together, when this was a little bit dark and real woolly, for lack of a better term, when you put that on, it kind of compensated for everything that wasn't doing and just elevated the whole thing. It sounded great together.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if we even mentioned it in this episode, but the whole reason for this is the electric distortion pedals tend to work really well going into or pairing with another pedal. Mm-hmm. I know personally a lot of times the one I use, I run before my drive. So I would probably flip-flop those in the one I use, but I'm not using that right now.
I did for a little bit, and then we had to bring it back here to use it.
And he was sad.
I was very sad.
So, what else? We normally talk about volume knob.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll switch because you've only heard it through one guitar, one pickup setting. Now we're going to hear it through another guitar, multiple pickup settings, and then work the volume knob because they're known for cleaning up nicely.
Right. So they're supposed to, you roll the volume down, it's supposed to get nice and clean. And I don't remember what I was always playing for that. It was...
Oh, right. Could be whatever you want it to be.
I guess it's gonna have to be
because you just did it.
I don't remember. So let's see. What if we add the Lightspeed with it?
Okay.
It's going to be... So even together, you roll the volume back and they clean up real nice.
Just do me a favor. Play... Okay, just say what I was going to say. I was going to have you play that again. I just want to tweak this just a little bit. Because I want to feel like when you start playing, like, would this be the way you'd have it set? I feel like it's dark.
Probably not.
Right. So I'm just curious to see, like...
Play that same chord.
Yeah, I'm just curious as I'm playing into this mic. I just felt that did more justice to the Ghetto Stomp because what we found with these Electra distortion pedals is when you go to clean them up, they still have like a high-end chime to them and they get pretty clean. I felt like it did when you did the lead stuff. When you did the chords, it felt a little muddy. And I think it's because we had this rolled back so far and maybe that juiced a little bit. I think when I made that change, it felt to me more like some of the distortion pedals we've done in the past. That maybe only had limited knobs and so we didn't have that much thinkability. Just boom, we turn it on. So I thought these sounded good no matter how we did it, but I feel like this is maybe a better representation of how this would be set by itself, personally.
Right, and I love that it does that. They're very touch sensitive. They're very...
Right.
Even with it all the way up, it's probably pretty touch sensitive. And then when you roll the volume back...
Yeah, I think that's a much better representation of maybe how we would use it. And it sounds really good by itself. And then you add either one of those, it's still...
Because it's actually weird. A lot of times when I use this circuit, right? Because, I mean, and there's...
Variations.
So many variations. Go back and watch the series opener because, like, Nick and we talked to a whole bunch of people like Nick, and they talk about it. And so there's not a lot of parts. It's like 8 parts in a knob or something. But tweaking those few parts really has a big impact on the sound. But they have a similar characteristic to them. Mm-hmm. And so when I use this pedal, this circuit, a lot of times I find I'm using it with the volume rolled back a little bit. So I pull the volume back. It's just adding a little bit. It's like, how to say it? So I'm stumbling over this. Why would you turn on an overdrive pedal and then roll your volume back? I'm trying to figure out how do you explain that.
Because you like what it does.
Right. I mean,
well, we use the word top end sparkler. It just adds a richness to the sound. Like when you when you roll the volume back, it doesn't get thin. It still has a lot of fidelity to it.
It's almost like putting a treble bleed on the guitar. Yeah. I'm going to be able to roll the guitar back, maintain some of the high end, maybe be a little bit louder than I was if I just didn't have a pedal on, had the volume all the way up. Right. Plus, then I have some of that hair there. If I dig in, you get a little bit of that hair. And then if you roll your volume up, you have enough, for a lot of cases, if you want... Not a sparkling, clean, like R&B kind of solo, but if you want a little bit of stuff, but maybe not full, a full overdrive sound. So I mean, they're brilliant. They're a really nice addition. And then if you have an overdrive you really like, you were talking about this earlier or something.
I was watching Tim Pierce, and he was talking about if you have a pedal that you like what it does and you want more, don't change that pedal. Find something to pair with it.
Right.
And even if it puts 3 drives on your board, maybe. So,
but the electric distortion in front of it, behind it, wherever, you're just going to hit that pedal that you like, and it's just going to boost it. And I find it a great pedal for that too. So this is a nice one. We missed anything?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of Greer. It's a lot of Greer going on down there.
All Greer all the time.
That's right. No, it's great what Nick makes and how generous he was with his time, and just what a creative and gentle soul that dude is.
Right. And he was kind enough to make this one and send it to us. They don't make the Ghetto Stomp anymore. But we were able to find that on the used market, and then we picked up from him, maybe with a slight discount, we picked up the other 2 from him because we wanted to support him, and we thought, wow, these pedals would be great for the series. So big shout out to Nick Greer, great guy. I think that's it. We always take a minute just to say thanks to everybody that is subscribing, that's clicking the notification bell, leaving comments. Anytime you interact with the show, that's what really helps us grow it and make this stuff happen. And we appreciate that to no end. Check out the website. There's some pedals that aren't sticking around. We got to move them to make room for. We can't have too much, but apparently you need to fund more. We have to move those. So there's some pedals for sale on the website as well, and just reach out to us if there's something that you like. And I think with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.